And we're back to CapCut. Let me give you an introduction to keyframes. I wasn't very creative here, but it does the job. We have a texture and a ball PNG, and I want the ball to move through the image. By the way, I used the default layout and I use Video Basic. Under position, we can adjust the position of our ball. Just make sure you've got this element selected in the timeline, not the texture. And right next to position, you will find this diamond icon. Left click on it to highlight it, and you've created your first keyframe. I'm at the start position, then I move a little bit to the right and I reposition the ball. You can see position X and Y has changed and we have a new keyframe. You can also see that in the timeline. So we have these two now, and I have these arrows. I can use them to cycle through the keyframes, and you can also see the position of the ball then changes. Let me add a third one, only adjusted Y position, so I go down. Try to keep the X position somewhat. New keyframe automatically generated yet again. And now I go to the end and I place the ball to the top left. Our final keyframe, therefore we have 4 now. And this creates the animation, so if I roll this, you can see the ball moves now through the previewer window, and this is what we want. But we can also make it a little bit more realistic by adding an animation for the rotate as well. To do that, I go to the start, yet again click on the diamond icon. Then I use the arrow key for position to jump to the next keyframe. And here I'll adjust the rotate, and this creates a keyframe for rotation automatically as well at this position. So this is why these arrows are useful. I jump to the next, make it 720, and I jump to the final one and I make it 1080. And if I roll it now, the ball moves and rotates at the same time. If you want to adjust this, you can also drag these keyframes around. Let's just say this is too fast for you in the first segment, so I just drag it to the right. And now it moves a little bit slower. But when you do it like this, it automatically adjusts all the keyframes that are at this position, in our case, position and rotate. And maybe you want to keep the rotation and only adjust the position. There are cases where you want to split that. To be able to do it, we need our keyframe menu. To find it, we have to press Alt-K, but this is only true when we have the default shortcuts active. So if you don't have that, make sure to click here first and check it. As I said, I use shortcut 1, the default, and here it is, Alt-K, show hide keyframe panel. So that's what we need. To make sure that this works, you have to have this element active in the timeline. So left click on it, make sure it's highlighted, then press Alt-K, and you can see all of the keyframes, so all of the specific ones. And here you can separately adjust them for X, Y, rotate. So in our case, we actually have 3. It's not just rotation and position. Position is also split into X and Y. And here we have the arrows again to cycle through them. You want to close it, once again Alt-K, and this is how you can adjust these keyframes separately. Once again, check your shortcuts. I use shortcut 1, and then it should be Alt-K. And that's all that I wanted to cover when it comes to an introduction to these keyframes. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.